We are here to discuss if Davy Jones is really back for Pirates 6. So we've gone over in a separate video the ending of Pirates 5, the after credits scene, in which we hear, then see the shadow of first his hat, then the tentacles, and we see the claw that Davy Jones is there. But we see that scene, like we only see he's there in that scene, which could mean a lot of different things. And we talked about it a little bit in that video. We got a lot of comments, a lot of confusion, and a lot of conflict between people as to, is Davy Jones really going to be in 6? And even saying that, does that mean he's going to be in it? And if he is, like, under what capacity? What exactly is he going to be in it in? So Tyler, and we've learned some things too off on the side, and we'll touch on that. But Tyler, right now, what do you see Davy Jones being in 6? And then we'll go into the things that we learned.
So Davy Jones is not physically back. He is not physically back. That's my opinion, but he is not physically back. I think, like I said in the other video, just took me a while to get to it, I think that he is a nightmare that the sea is sending Will, because even though Will can, for whatever reason, because he was not cursed, come to land and all that jazz, Will still is the captain of the Flying Dutchman. There still are people dying at sea, and there still are people, those who died at sea, still need to be ferried to the other side. Will Turner still has a job to do as captain of the Flying Dutchman. He unknowingly, innocently abandoned his duties, and now I think the sea is using Davy Jones, probably because that's who Will probably is very afraid of, because of what happened with his father, because of just because of everything, really. You know, Elizabeth, like everything. So they're probably using Davy Jones. Also, he was the previous captain of Flying Dutchman. So I think the sea is using his visual, like his appearance, basically, to scare Will into reminding him, like, you have a job that you have to do.
In 6, do you think Davy
Yes.
Jones will be in 6, and he would be, and what capacity would he be in it?
Yeah, I think. Oh, by the way, stay tuned because we have evidence to back up what we're saying.
Yes.
Just throwing that out there. And good evidence. But I do think he would be in Pirates 6. He'll be in Pirates 6, but I don't think he would be in it much. He would not be the villain of Pirates 6. And if they actually do bring him physically back and he's really back, then they really messed up. Then because there's so many more pirates, or like just pirate lore to tell. If they already have to retell story, that's bad, and none of us should be satisfied. I love Davy Jones. If he's physically back and the villain, which he's not, but if he is, I'd actually be extremely disappointed. But yeah, so short answer, he will be in it. He won't be in it a lot. But he will be in it as a nightmare.
Yeah, I agree with Tyler. I think obviously they want you to question whether or not he's there with the ending of the after credit scene of 5, but everything that we know, playing by their rules, and we will explain it, but everything that we know based on their rules and what we've talked about so far with curses and supernatural would indicate to us that there's no way of Davy Jones coming back to life. But again, I do agree with Tyler, and I have told this to people in the comments. I do think he would be in 6. We would see him, but it would be very limited, and it would be just with the medium of nightmares scaring Will. He may be in it just in the beginning. Maybe he appears throughout the movie. It wouldn't be like a Joker thing in the Batman video game. It wouldn't be that, but we would see Davy Jones come back. So I mean, it's good in that way, because if they do it right, this could be very sweet. You see him, he's not the main villain, he's not even a main character, but you get to see him again. Because
hear him, probably get some new lines from him.
Yeah, because the story's been already told. We know everything we need to know about him.
There's no more, and I think you and I either off camera, it gets confusing. But like I said before, or I think it was in the discussion video, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But like for Davy Jones, there's no more character development for that character. Like we know it really is a tragic past. We understand how he got to the point that he's in, and the whole Calypso, all that stuff is like that's done. She's no longer in prison. She's free. She's part of the sea again, and she basically felt betrayed by him. And when he, when Jack has Will stab his heart, when he falls into the whirlpool, like that was all of that was caused by Calypso. That was all Calypso. So she like basically swallows him whole, and I'm sure she does. He doesn't end up in a locker like a lot of people think, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But
So
I also quickly, I want to say I know that there was barnacles under next to the bed. I get that. I know that. Again, what I said in the analysis video of the after credit scene is something is coming to Will in his room. Something is coming to Will. It is not Davy Jones. Whatever that something is the thing that's causing him to get those nightmares, basically. Could it be like a sea wraith? It could be a sea wraith. It could be something. It could be Davy Jones' ghost. I don't think it is. I think it's the sea that's doing it. Or it could even be maybe his father. I don't know. We'll find out. But yes, I did not forget there are barnacles. There's something or someone, most likely something, is actually going to see Will, but that is not physically Davy Jones. Because if it was physically Davy Jones, then wouldn't you think that when the claw closes, wouldn't that make Elizabeth wake up? What? And wouldn't he just kill them both right there while they sleep?
right.
Of course he would. So obviously he's not really there.
Right.
That was a nightmare. And just because the barnacles are there doesn't mean it's from Davy Jones.
Right. So now let's back ourselves up. So we've talked about curses. We've talked about supernatural. We have evidence to back us up that, and Tyler has been saying it for a while, Davy Jones is not cursed. Under no circumstances was he ever cursed. I'll let Tyler take it from there.
Yeah, so the whole job, the Captain of the Flying Dutchman is not a curse. And I'm really not going to go into it anymore. If you go watch our other video on the curse or supernatural. Well, I'll go into it very briefly. Not a curse. Davy Jones was basically told the rules, like, here's what happens, by Calypso. He accepted. He knew the consequence. Can't come to land except for once every 10 years. He knew all that. Willingly accepted the role. It's not a curse. He took it. If it was a curse, then it would be an unwilling, basically. He didn't want it, but she did it to him anyways. Him changing is not a curse. It's because he became cruel, abandoned his position, and he became basically like cruel parts of the sea almost. But we have even further evidence now, and you watch the deleted scene at World's End between Governor Swan, Davy Jones, and Beckett. Beckett wasn't in the room at the time. And we're going to have a video on whether or not this scene even counts. But right now I just want you to hear what was said. So Governor Swan is about to stab the heart. And then, I'm not going to talk like Davy Jones.
That's tough.
So Dave Jones says, "Are you prepared for what comes after?" I said I wasn't going to, anyways. Then he says, "When I carved that traitorous vessel from my body," starting about his heart, "I cast upon a terrible geish." He's like geish. So Alex and I took 10 minutes to try to figure it out. At first, we came to the conclusion that it was a free-to-play game from Japan. So that's what we believe that he's saying. That when he carved out his heart, he cast upon a free-to-play game from Japan. So that's the end of the video.
Thank you and good night.
No, but in all seriousness, so he says, I cast upon it a terrible geish. We finally found it. Geis. You can look into it yourself. And then he continues saying, "If you stab my heart, yours must take a place. The crew are not bound to me. They are bound to the Dutchman." That's interesting. "And the Dutchman must have a captain. Will ye serve?" So then we looked up, what's a geish? Or a geish. And that is a solemn injunction, especially of a magical kind, the infringement of which led to misfortune or even death, a taboo, spell, or prohibition. Um, so, what does that mean in English? That means that he basically just made it so he just cast like a spell onto his heart that, not a curse, but like a spell or like a,
It's more
if
of
this
a,
happens, then this happens.
it's an obligation
It's,
or it's a vow.
yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. Basically, yeah, it's like an obligation. Like, so, like if you kill me, then you have to take my place.
Right.
So that's not, again, that still is not a curse. So now you can go watch our other video and answer my question about will based on what I just said. Yeah, that proves it's not a curse. And the reason that this is important is because, well, at the end of Pirates 5, spoiler alert, even though we're talking about the after credit scene, they break the trident. Supposedly, it releases all curses. It breaks all curses. And again, and a lot of you have said, well, maybe because Will's no longer Captain of the Flying Dutchman, maybe Davy Jones is returned to be Captain of the Flying Dutchman. Davy Jones is dead. His heart was stabbed. He's dead. He fell into the whirlpool. Calypso swallowed him whole and is probably beating the shit out of him until this very day. He's done. He's not alive. He's dead. His heart was stabbed. He's dead. And so,
And Will is still the captain of the Flying Dutchman.
and Will is still the captain of the Flying Dutchman. And the other thing is, a lot of you were like, well, I'm obviously not naming names because there's a lot of you. And I'm not picking on anybody except for everybody, including Alex. I'm just kidding. A lot of you were saying that, the trident's broken, all curses are broken, and that means Davy Jones is back, and Salazar's back, and Barbossa's back. Well, the last two are absolutely not back, because they died after the trident was broken. So even if there was some way that they could survive in some kind of curse-type way, the trident's broken. So they're not back. Salazar's not going to come back. Doesn't even make sense. He was restored, and then he's dead. He's killed. And Barbossa not only drowns, but is totally crushed by the ocean. He's dead. Davy Jones has been dead for a very long time.
Yeah.
But he also wasn't cursed. Like when he died, he wasn't under a curse, so that way, like, he could become, like, undead. It's hard to... It's almost hard to explain how he's not back, because it just doesn't even make sense, to be honest. Like, at all. Like, I don't know if you can think of how to explain it.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
I can't even think of how to explain, like, there's no way he'd be able to come back. He wasn't cursed dead
right.
in the first place.
And that's,
like, nobody cursed death on him.
and that's the thing, is the way you have to go about it, if you think he's back, is that he was cursed all along, and by
Right.
breaking curses, he's like free of whatever curse people are actually saying he's in. Like, what curse is that? Being a fish? Being trapped on the Dutchman? Having his heart be removed from his body in a chest? Like, what is the curse that would bring him back to life, by the way? Because I'm not sure. But
Yeah, that's why I'm confused.
but all of them are not curses. He took the job willingly, so that whole thing isn't a curse, and that's a problem with Pirates 5, by the way, and we've talked about it. So if this is the first video you're watching, go watch the other ones, because we talk about how that's fundamentally kind of wrong the way Will put it, and that's how the writers put it. So that's wrong. There is no curse that you're bound to the Dutchman. Like, that's just the rule that happens to get passed to Will. Next up is, he's tentacly, and he's not actually, like, he's not a human, but that's because the rules of the job he broke. So that is a punishment on rules that he agreed to. There's no curse there. And what was it, like the heart being cut out into a chest? He says it himself that it is not a curse. It's an obligation that somebody would have to carry that on. And him doing that himself was not a curse either. He cut his heart out because he couldn't bear the pain that Calypso brought him. None of that is a curse. So to bring him back would mean that Will didn't stab his heart, which he did. You know what I mean? Like, his heart stopped beating, which means he's dead.
Not possible.
And he stabbed it with a sword, so the sword wasn't cursed. So
yeah, right.
So
none of it doesn't work.
Yeah, I understand, like, the hope Everybody loves him.
Yeah, me
We do
too.
too. But like Tyler said, I think I do definitely agree. It's a bad idea. If he's the main villain of 6, they got some problems because they can do different things. Like Poseidon is right there. They mentioned him in this movie, and then to go off and do Davy Jones again, that would be 3 of 6 movies as Davy Jones. So let us know in the comments below what you think of this video. If Davy Jones is back, what if he was cursed or not. Let us know your thoughts on it, and we'll continue to talk there. Thank you guys for watching this video. Next week we're going to have 2 videos up. One special one with a guest, and another one talking about the future of our Pirates of the Caribbean content, because we're not going to stop, but we're going to have a new way of doing it, so we will announce that at the end of next week. So stay tuned, stay with us, because we're not done even though Pirates 5 is out. So let us know what you think in the comments for any of these videos. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast now, our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and share this video. Tyler, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome, and we'll see you on the next Pirates video.